I'm giving a report on behalf of the committee that was looking at the production level, and it is my honor and pleasure to do so. I'll start with the issue of farm inputs, and the issue that was raised by the farmers yesterday was that there was high cost of farm inputs, and the fertilizers were sometimes of low quality and substandard. So the recommendation of the committee is that the government should provide subsidized fertilizer of the right quality and in a timely manner. And just to add, one of the issues that was raised in that meeting is that the last fertilizer that was provided by KTDA, there were issues that were of concern to farmers in relation to the way the tendering process was done. A local guy, I think, was used who didn't give very good fertilizer, and we seem to be loading a lot of costs in the way we procure the fertilizer. And so we'd like the government to come up with a process that will ensure that we get the right fertilizer quality and in a timely way, so that the farmer costs can go down. But in the long term, Your Excellency, it is proposed that Kenya should actually consider starting a fertilizer factory right here in the country. Then there was the whole issue of fertilizer transportation, distribution, logistics, and last mile distribution. It is proposed the use of the cheapest, effective, efficient means of transport, and procurement of transport be done competitively. And we had an opportunity to hear the PS in charge of crops tell us that there's an arrangement they have come up with Kenya Railways, and they are willing to bring fertilizer closer to the people, especially those that are along the old standard gauge railway. So, no, metered gauge railway, so they will be able to get fertilizer closer and at a cheap cost. The other issue that was raised yesterday, there was inadequate provision of extension services leading to low productivity of tea, and the recommendation is that the county governments should hire extension officers that are well trained on matters tea, so that they can be able to give capacity, to build the capacity of farmers to grow better tea and to improve on the quality. Then the registration of farmers, there was a lack of up-to-date database on farmers, and that's why some of the independent tea producers were hawking tea from farmers of KTDA. And there's a proposal that Tea Board of Kenya should ensure development and enforcement of a proper database per factory, which should also be accessible online, so that we can also discourage tea hawking. There was an issue that came out very, very strongly on a program by KTDA, a health program by KTDA called Kinga ya Wakulima, which is a health program, and I think there's a farmer yesterday who mentioned it. And what came out, Your Excellency, is that the farmers are extremely unhappy about this system, this insurance, because they pay, and then when they get sick, they go to the hospital and they are forced to pay the money in advance and then go and claim. And so the proposal was that KTDA should partner with NHIF to come up with a health insurance cover for all the tea farmers. And that was very, very strong, Your Excellency. I really beg that you take this up together with NHIF so that our farmers can get proper health coverage. There was the issue of TCES, Your Excellency. You remember in the past there used to be TCES, and the money was deducted from tea and subsequently given to the tea factory so that they can be able to maintain the access roads to the tea buying center. But that was since removed, I think, in the Roads Act, and the governors then felt that this money should come to the county. But the truth of the matter, Your Excellency, is that there's no money coming to the county specifically mentioned as TCES money for road. So it's not a conditional grant, and as a result, the tea farmers feel that a lot of the access roads to the tea buying centers have not been well taken care of like they were before. And there's a proposal that we revert to the old system so that this money goes to the factories and the factories can maintain their own roads. And as a governor, I personally don't mind that, because we have too many roads to take care of, and I can see my colleague governors are in total agreement, because we have too many roads. If the T1s can be managed by the factories, and they did that pretty well, it would be a good idea. There was also the issue of diversification in tea farms. You know, once you plant tea, you can't do anything else on that tea farm. But there was a new thinking that there are certain fruit trees that actually bled pretty well with the tea farms, especially on the boundaries of the tea farms. And so there's a proposal that the government, working closely with the Kenya, the Tea Research Institute, should come up with those tea fruit trees that can blend with the tea farms, so that we can be able to diversify and come up with other sources of income. Then there's a problem about communication between the farmer and KTDAs. There's barriers in communication, and I think Your Excellency, you ably mentioned that today and yesterday, about the need for KTDA to involve farmers directly when they are making decisions that have direct impact on them. And one such issue was the issue of subsidiaries, and even the issue of this health insurance, because there doesn't seem to be public participation on some of the things that are done. But in that same committee, it was felt that KTDA should, as much as possible, try to stick to their core business of managing tea and avoid getting to every other business in town, including giving health insurance, doing all those things, because in the process, they are loading that cost on the farmer, and on top of that, they are now becoming business people. And Your Excellency, a case in point that was mentioned in this committee was that we have warehouses in Mombasa that were bought through money by the tea farmers. But these factories are now charged a high storage fee on the very warehouses that they bought using the farmers' money. And now there's a whole subsidiary that is in charge of warehousing, and all they want is to make profits out of the farmers using an asset that was bought with farmers' money. So, Your Excellency, those were the issues that came out in our meeting. But there was one other issue that was very controversial, but I will still report it. The issue of women involvement and representation and the control of tea resources. The women who were in that committee felt that, number one, because women don't own land, they don't have title, all they do is provide labor for the tea farms, but the person who goes to get the money at the end of the month or at the bonus time is the man, and the woman is left with no money of her own. And it was a very controversial debate. But maybe this is something that we need to think about, how we are going to involve women in real production and ensure that their labor makes sense, especially those that are working in their family farms, so that they get a piece of the pie and they can have energy to continue picking tea for the next 1 year. So thank you, Your Excellency. And may I take this opportunity, sir, to really thank you for the leadership that you are providing on these very critical matters. Sir, I was in Parliament for 20 years. And every time I remember the issues of tea, the issues of coffee, the issues of dairy were very big issues. And the reason why we did not succeed with the proposals we came up with or the reforms we proposed was the lack of political goodwill. Your presence, sir, in these meetings, your presence sitting here for 2 long days, and moving on with making sure that we implement these issues will make a difference. And I want to assure you, if you deliver Matters Tea, Matters Coffee, Matters Dairy, you and the President of Kenya will be untouchable amongst the farmers where we come from. That's a fact, because you're bringing money back to the pocket of the farmer, and that is our desire and that is our goal. Thank you very much. May God bless you. There's something that didn't come through. There was the issue of machinery, use of manual as opposed to machine labor. It was felt that the small-scale farmers are really struggling because the cost of labor of picking tea is very high. It is ranging anything between 14 to 16 shillings a kilo. But if you use machinery, it is coming down to 5 shillings a kilo. And so, there is a proposal to empower small-scale farmers to adopt the use of technology, support small-scale farmers to acquire affordable and appropriate modern equipment, which should include encouraging local fabrication of the tea plucking machines, strengthen collaboration between tea farmers to pool resources and invest in shared machinery, and creation of alternative mechanisms or avenues for job creation for the tea pluckers. Because at the end of the day, the farmer wants more money in the pocket. Then there's the whole issue of soil fertility and climatic conditions. There's lack of knowledge about region-specific soil fertility and understanding of sustainable soil management practices, different climatic conditions and soil fertility leading to differences in the prices between the eastern region and the western region. So there's need to support the research arm of the tea sector, the Tea Research Institute, so that they can be able to provide the necessary information to improve on productivity based on the soil quality that the farmers have. And then establish farmer training programs to train farmers on proper soil management techniques and importance of maintaining soil fertility. It is felt strongly that research and development, R&D, will really go a long way on even bringing in new varieties of tea that are more resilient to the climatic changes that we are now experiencing. So revitalizing and funding the Tea Research Foundation, enhancing research on region-specific fertilizers, establishment of Tea Science Academy, promotion of tea tourism, and research to develop proper tea crowns. Thank you very much.